Well, like I mentioned, I'm going to drop into Reihana Street, and here I am now. The little house up there is where my mother used to work. She used to clean that house there. And that track that heads up to the top of Reihana Street, that's where I used to go every morning, walk up there to get the bus for school. You see that there? That's Reihana Street right there. Reihana Street goes up there. That's where Mr. Pearson used to drop me off his steamroller after he'd given me a lift up the road and let me steer it. So that's Reihana Street, where we used to go and meet up with Father Bowling every Sunday morning. That house over there, old Mr. Smith used to live in there, and he let me use his motor. It was clutch driven, and he let me use it, and I didn't quite get a handle on the clutch and the brake, and so I went straight across the whole lawn over to the neighbour's place. You can see the neighbours, and I mowed their lawn as well, and he had to come over and rescue me. In the song Reihana Street, toward the end of the song, you'll hear me talk about Jarvis keeps the junk. That's where Jarvis lived, in the place over there in amongst the bushes. It's very different now, but you'll see the garage just down here, and when you rolled that garage door up, it was absolutely full of junk right to the door. You couldn't move, and all the adjoining property. But things have changed now. So right now I'm walking down Reihana Street. This is it. So I'm coming down here, yeah, and Jarvis keeps the junk, and that's where it was, right there. We should ride our trolleys down the street, steel wheel trolleys, every weekend, and drive the neighbours crazy. I rode my horse up and down here several times when I used to graze him up at Bastion Point, and I used to gallop him up through that park there. And so the place has certainly changed. It's a different street altogether now, but this is Reihana Street, where I hung out as a kid. Yeah, full of amazing characters. We would come roaring down here on our trolleys, and waiting for us from this property up here were Mr. and Mrs. Duffin. He was about 6'4", Mr. Duffin, and he'd wait for us to go zooming past our trolleys right here, number 75. He'd stand right here with his wife at this gate with a massive broom, and as we went past, he'd try and catch us as we went past and whack us in the head or the chest. If he just missed that, he'd get us on the back and try and knock us off our trolleys. So that's Duffin's house, number 75, Reihana Street. See this grey house over here? That's where Grey Brassy lived, and he built me my trolley, my steel wheel trolley, and he had painted on it sterling silver, S-I-L-V-A, and we would rip down the street and make a hell of a racket. And that's where Nairi and Gray lived, and Lindsay, so long ago. That's my old house over there. That's my house. It's where I was born. 68 Reihana Street. That's where I was born. That's where I lived when I was a kid. I hope I don't disturb this gentleman here, but that room up there, that was my bedroom. Upstairs, right on the corner with that window open, that was my bedroom at 68 Reihana Street. When I was born here, I lived here with my sisters and my mum and dad for several years. The place has completely been developed now. It's a totally new place, all addition. That's my mum and dad's bedroom up there, and my sister's bedroom is on the other side. So there you have it, 68 Reihana Street. I climbed this tree when I was a kid, when I was a tiny little kid. I climbed up that tree. We lived here and played cricket and soccer and all kinds of stuff on the street. And there's my bedroom up there, the one on the edge. With that sunroom, an amazing little room. That was my sleeping place. And so we move on down here. That's Foreshores there. And in here you'll hear me talk about Maddox crying fire. And the house up behind here, that's where the Maddox lived. You can just see a piece of it up there. It caught fire one night, and there were fire engines and people screaming, And Mrs. Maddox was just losing her marbles. She was so frightened by the fire, which is understandable. A very scary time. And across here, see the house up there on the hill? That's where Tommy Williams lived, and his children, Mick and Eric, or we called him Jughead. And on that lawn, the second tier of that lawn, when Mick and Eric had a bit of a disagreement, Tommy would say, get the gloves out, and they would fight on that top lawn, and they'd have to punch it out to sort out their differences. Hence in the fight, Tommy, get the gloves out so Mick and Jug can fight. And so this is Reihana Street, guys. That's it up there. And that's where I lived for years and years and years. I could go on down, but I won't. That was the track where I peed myself several times coming home from going up the shops for Mum and Dad. I'd never make it home and pee my pants. I was only young, so young. And that's Reihana Street going down to Okahu Bay. So the correct pronunciation is Reihana Street, Orake. Alrighty. And so I just wanted to give you a little glimpse. We would end our trolley ride just down here. That's where we'd wind up and finish it all. So it was a hell of a ride. And this 65 Reihana Street, that's where Jughead lived with his mum and his dad and Mickey, his brother, and the daughter. I can't remember her name. But this is me walking up Reihana Street. You can see Maddox's house up the back there. The Maddox family. And some of these old garages are still happening, look, here. So that's it. But look at what's happening at the back of there, at the back of our house, look. Can you see that over there? Look, another property going up over the back, all wrapped up in plastic. Man, I walk up here and I can just remember the trolley wheels ripping down this street. And we used to manage to pass each other and rip the lawn up. Oh dear, those memories. And so the song Reihana Street is about all these characters that lived on Reihana Street. Arida, the old lady, she lived in there. I sing about Zazu, and she had fingers. She was a chain smoker. She had fingers and they looked like nicotine sticks. She lived in that house there, not as it is now, but as it was before. And she used to scare the hell out of me. She'd walk around with a fur coat on, summer or winter, and she would scare me. She'd just appear with straggly brown hair and nicotine lips. And I was only a little fella, and I used to look and see her, and my God, the hell, she'd just appear like an apparition. Yeah, man. And there's the famous Duffin house. Bang! When we went past in the trolley, we'd get a decent whack. And so, I got one more to show you, and that's Dyer's as a ghost house. It's one up here. I remember going into their house once or twice. I think my mum may have even worked there. But I remember as a kid going into their house and there was nothing there. They were both alcoholics. And she would be sitting in bed. There's nothing of her. She was nearly gone. And he would just wander around the house. And God, it was scary for a little fella. But anyway, that's where their house was. Right there. And the house is gone now. Bowled over. And Dyer's is a ghost house. Jarvis keeps the junk. Who's that new kid on the block smelling like a skunk? I do remember. And so that's the Dyer's original roof. And of course the house has been built onto. So guys, looking back now, Reihana Street. Whammo. Yeah. As the rains came in September, some days were dark as night. As a kid, I do remember how the lightning would strike. Bang. Okay, that's it. Reihana Street. Just a little clip for you. See ya.